Member FDIC.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs has been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at UCLA in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at huskerfantravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a hotel in scenic Santa Monica, an exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on your game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA is not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at UCLA. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at huskerfantravel.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Says we're live. Are we supposed to go?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 of The Ticket. We are on location here at Mulberry's BBQ, the South location here at Mulberry's. Ready to roll. Big-time Husker football coming up this weekend. All right. Again, we are live at Mulberry BBQ, 61st and Highway 2. Our proud sponsor of the lunch hour on the Adam Carriker Show. But today we're here for not one, Jake, but 2 full hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come join us. All right, today we are giving away a $25 Mulberry gift card at noon, a $25 Mulberry gift card at 12:30, and a pair of tickets for Nebraska versus Akron, 12:55 p.m. giveaway. Stop by and put your name in during our broadcast today, and if you win, we'll contact you and let you know. Today's lunch special, burn-end dinner plate with a drink for just $17. That's Mulberry BBQ at 61st and Highway 2. But if you can't make it here, they have a second location at 11th and Cornhusker Highway as well. Again, come join us. Mulberry BBQ, 61st Highway 2. We're giving away Mulberry BBQ gift card at noon, 12:30, and a pair of tickets to Nebraska and Akron at 12:55. All right, Jake, have you missed me this week?
I have.
Austin doesn't want to hear what you have to say. Austin, include Jake in the conversation. That's all right. I can keep talking until we know that Jake's ready. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I was under the weather this week, feeling just a little bit better today. So we're back. So we got some things to catch up on. Got some clips we're going to roll with. One of us did horrifically horrible in our picks from last weekend's games. One of us, both of us, maybe just me. I don't even know if I got a game right outside the Nebraska game, but we'll dive into that just a little bit. We got to take ownership. When we get things right, we'll take credit. When we get things wrong, it was Jake's fault. No, but we'll take ownership when we get things wrong. And I had a rough weekend, and that's putting it mildly. And then Nebraska's offense, will they be more explosive? Will Nebraska's defense, will they bounce back? Which is weird to say because they only gave up 17 points. But 0 sacks and over 200 rushing yards. Not ideally what you're looking for. Akron coming in here. All right. Dead last in America. Haven't scored yet this year. So I feel like the defense can do pretty well against them. Obviously, we'll give our Akron predictions, other game predictions, mostly Michigan, Oklahoma. If there's any other games on your docket, just let me know there, Jake. All right. But how you doing, man? Have you missed me? Have you been in Adam Carriker withdrawals without me this week? How's your week been?
Absolutely. It's been pretty good. Obviously, college football week started. We got the NFL last night, another great game. I have been waiting all week to ask you what you thought about the defensive line performance because they did, like you mentioned, give up more than 200 yards, a lot of that from the quarterback. And I think for a lot of fans, that's the primary concern coming out of week one is, okay, well, that's Cincinnati. What's it going to look like against Big Ten opponents? Of course, we'll see this week against Akron if they can shore it up a little bit. I've heard a lot of different ideas thrown out there, maybe more down linemen. But again, a lot of it was the pressure up the field that made the quarterback scramble, and Sorsby was able to take off down the field, a lot of it. So kind of interesting first game to break down.
We'll chat about it here quickly. In fact, I'll kind of give my response to one of the questions that's in the headline of this show. Will Nebraska's defense bounce back? We'll go ahead and discuss that now. We don't need to spend too much time delving into last week. It's your and mine's first opportunity to do it here on this show. So we'll do it quickly. Then we'll start to look forward more to Akron. So they gave up less than 100 total yards offense in the first half. And yes, over 200 yards rushing is not even close to what you want to be doing as a defense. 0 sacks, only 2 total TFLs combined between 3 players. Not ideally what you're looking for. Okay, when you're a smaller defensive front, it's not a bad thing. Can you stunt? Can you get penetration? Can you get tackles for loss? Can you get pressures and hurries and sacks on the quarterback? Well, we stunted. I don't know how much, not a whole lot of tackles for loss, 0 sacks. So we got to work on those things. I'm genuinely curious to see how good Cincinnati is this year or is not. They're going to be better than they were last year. They're going to make a bowl game. They're going to win way more than 5 games. I stood on the sideline before the game. I looked at the team and I was like, wow, they're more impressive than I thought they would. Like, I was legit like, they're kind of like a little bit impressive here. Like, this could be a 7-8 win team this year, potentially 9. We'll see. The Big 12 is so balanced, so entertaining. Games are so close. I mean, the margin for error between winning 9 games and 6 games in that conference might be a total of 14 points. So we'll see what happens. They're going to be better. I'm not saying they're a juggernaut, but it's hard when the rushing yards came from the quarterback, 96 of them, because that's not something you're going to see a lot. And is that a true indication of your rush defense or just you're having a hard time getting to the guy, and then he's breaking out. I don't know that we learned a ton in that first game. It was tough for me. I would have liked to have seen less leaky defense in the second half. I would have liked to have seen better adjustments, honestly, throughout the second half when we needed to get the stops the most. We got the INT, but we couldn't get the actual stop that we needed too often up until that in the second half, although we got the ultimate stop at the end. So to answer your question about the D-line, I don't know that we learned a lot other than they did get stuck on blocks. They had a hard time shedding blocks. You can't give up that type of rushing yards. You've either got to be getting to the quarterback or you've got to be containing him. We did neither. I think what we learned is we're a little light, we're young, and we need to get better. But it's hard to sit here and say, I learned a ton. I can say I observed, but I'm going to observe this weekend, next weekend. I think we'll learn a ton. 2 weekends from now against Michigan. But it's hard to come away with a definitive conclusion when a lot of the rushing yards are from the quarterback, who's a pretty freaking good player.
Yeah, I think that's a fair evaluation. I think it's kind of interesting because it was just a whole boatload of different reactions from that first game from a lot of Husker fans. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, Michigan's got a big game this week against Oklahoma. So we'll kind of get an idea of what they're going to look like coming here to Lincoln in a few weeks. These next 2 weeks are about tuning it up, right? Whatever we did see from week one, I think with Akron's offense not coming in here with a whole lot, like you said, didn't even score in week one, didn't really have a whole lot going for him last year either. The defense hopefully can kind of shore up some things, figure out what maybe went wrong against Cincinnati, build their confidence even for a group that's starting to kind of work together. The secondary looked pretty spectacular. I mean, there is parts of it that you would like to kind of point out and say, well, they only give up 66 passing yards. That's a heck of a performance from then. And then obviously, like you said, the final pick there from Malcolm Hartzog finishing the game is the play that Nebraska has been missing for the longest time, in these one possession games. So I think it again, as we kind of get away from that week, there's always a lot of kind of hot feelings about the game and initial reaction. But for Nebraska, I think a win was a win. And now you work to kind of shore up those things and give your best look to Michigan here in a couple of weeks. Again, you don't want to overlook Akron or Houston Christian, but we got a lot bigger things to talk about if these games are close.
So I think part of the reaction after the game was a lot of the hype going into the game. And all offseason, we have heard – okay, these are some of the things we've heard. Potential Remington Award winner, potential Joe Moore award-winning offensive line, elite wide receivers, smartest quarterback we've seen, and making throws I've never seen, and the defensive line is going to be one of the best around. Like these are all things we heard throughout the offseason.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at Florida State's quarterback, he flat out straight up talked trash about Alabama and then went out and backed it up. Now, he partly did that, and it galvanized the team around him. Like, we got to have your back. I think that's part of what Rule's trying to do. I don't know that he always says, like, he says what he sees. I think he also says a little bit of a combination of what he wants to see. Like, this is what I want from our guys, and he hopes to galvanize them, kind of like FSU's quarterback did. But we're the youngest team in the Big Ten. It might take a little bit longer for some of that stuff to come around. And so for me, I think there was a certain level of expectations based on what we heard in the offseason. And then all of a sudden, you see Cincinnati. Some people think basketball school. With all due respect, I associate them more with basketball. Sure. And then all of a sudden, we're like, whoa, well, what's going on in the second half of this game? The way I saw it was it's a Big 12 opponent. First time we've beaten a Power 4 team since 2003, game one of the year. It's a type of game that we have lost so many times, and we found a way to win. And I said going in, we've got a ton of new. They have a ton of new. First games of the year tend to be so freaking ugly because you don't have preseason like the NFL. I honestly thought we'd be favored by more. I thought we would win by double digits. And I also said, I just want to walk out of there with a win because imagine if we don't. Oh, yeah. Now, not to take the next 2 weeks for granted, but we should be able to say, hey, we should be 3-0 going into Michigan versus what could have been. And we found a way to win a game we normally wouldn't have. And that's my biggest takeaway. And to be clear, with all of the offseason hype and et cetera, the only hype I ever bought into was the 9 wins. Like, I predicted 9 wins. Somebody's like, you backing off that? I'm like, no. We should be we should be starting the season 3-0. That's a third of the way to my win prediction total here. So I'm going to stick with that for now, most because I'm kind of stubborn. But for me, I understand what Rule's trying to do. galvanize the team, bring them together. I got no problem with that. We got to get better the next couple of weeks. I do think the defense bounces back. You have a quarterback who completed under 50% of his passes coming in, Akron's quarterback. And then you have a defense that had their best pass defense grade in over a decade, 89.4. And we're number one in the Big Ten in pass defense. Hey, number one in the Big Ten in pass defense, number 8 in the country. I think the defense bounces back. I think they make a point to get better at things they need to get better at. So I'm just going to answer that question right out the gate. I did send you a clip, though, not to completely change topics or get off topic, but my wife sent me this, and then she texted it to me, and then she walked in the room because she wanted to see my reaction to the clip. Have you ever felt entrapped in your life? Like you've just put in a situation where you can't win?
Yeah, I think so. I think I understand that feeling.
You felt entrapped?
Yeah.
All right. Is it Austin running the board today?
It's Ellie.
Ellie. All right, Ellie. Can you play that clip for us? I think I got it off Instagram. Go ahead and roll that for us.
Can I get a specific on what that clip is?
Can't hear too well.
All right. Well, I don't hear anything, so I'm going to assume nobody else out there hears anything as well. Let us know, Ellie, or whoever's running the board, when you got that clip ready. It made me laugh. Like a lot of times you'll type LOL, like laugh out loud, but you got like this straight face on, or you're sending the laughing emoji, but you're not really laughing. I literally burst out laughing at the end of it. But we will play that clip.
I think it's ready now.
Is it ready?
I feel like my girlfriend is trying to trick me.
You let me know when it's ready.
A lot of times
in the
trying
meantime,
to trick
we can
me
keep
because
chatting.
she came
There
in the other day.
Some
and she goes,
very
"Don,
interesting college football news in general. Okay. Pete Nakos, a source confirms to On3 Sports that the FBS Oversight Committee voted in favor of a one-time only portal. This would be 10 days starting January 2nd. No spring portal, no 30 days. Significant moment for the player movement era. That's via Pete Nakos on Twitter. All right, so again, the NCAA Football Oversight Committee voted to support a single transfer portal window in January. I think this is huge. I know I've got thoughts. I'm sure you do as well, Jake. What's your initial reaction to that?
Well, I mean, even like breaking down this Akron team, it's crazy how much turnover there is in college football, and this isn't necessarily going to stop that, but it can kind of contain it and help with roster management throughout the year. You just kind of have this one-time chance here. I think it's perfect. I think it's something that should have been done immediately. We always talk about the need for a college football commissioner, all the mess that somewhat is college football. It's great when it gets on the field and we can kind of see it play out. And obviously week 1 was incredible, but with all the conference realignment and transfer portal and all this stuff, it needs to be contained, or, guardrails, as we've said for years and years, need to kind of be put around it. This is a step in that direction. And I think every coach in the country just would be so happy. Again, just not even like, okay, we're going to lose more players, less players, whatever it is, just knowing what you're working with going into February. Instead of kind of holding your breath at the end of spring and, we're still trying to, pick a player here too. It would be huge for the sport and just for roster continuity.
So I'm just going to read it again. So one-day portal window. I'm sorry, not one day. One-time portal window. So nothing after the spring. So the spring games will return. With all due respect to the Husker games. With all due respect to the Husker games, they did the best they could. Once there was no spring game, there's only so much you can do. They did the best they could. I don't want to see that ever again, though. I don't. I want to see spring football games. You just look at the crowd that was there. I think there was 8,000 people. The smallest spring game attendance I've ever seen, by far, was 33,000, my redshirt freshman year. Other than that, it was always 50, 60, 70, or just sold out. So that tells you as much effort and as much as they tried to do good with wasn't a great situation, I don't want to see it again. Spring games will now return. There's no post-spring portal window. So if you go out and you play a spring game, you can't just sit there and try to poach somebody else's players. It's a 10-day portal window. So it's not this thing that's just open for like 2-3 months in the winter and then a couple months in the spring. So it's much, much shorter. So spring games will return. Now I'm curious to see team versus team inter-squad practices. Because that was brought up, remember?
Yeah.
Good old Dion.
Yeah.
And I love the idea, just like the NFL. Not only could spring games come back, we could have practices within the spring versus other teams, which would now be more beneficiary to teams because you're going to get better doing that. And it's much more entertaining to fans. And let's be honest, they're going to probably charge you to go and make more money out of it. Fine. Okay, you got to find as many ways to make revenue as you can, whatever. The option and possibility is there, and I get excited about that. January 2nd is when it would open for 10 days. So the pluses are you're not getting ready for a bowl game while players are entering the portal. You're not getting ready for the college football playoff, at least up to the 8-team January 1st, 4 major bowl game portion of the playoff, and trying to maintain your roster and trying to recruit high school kids and trying to recruit transfer portal kids. Much less for coaches to think about, to deal with. Now, I love all of that. Downside, if you're one of the final 4 teams left in the college football playoff after January 1st, you're still dealing with it. Yeah. But this is much improved, but I think it could still be better, starting by ending the college football playoff way freaking sooner. It's way too spread out. But for now, this is a drastic improvement. What say you, Jake?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think was it Bo Pribula who was transferred out of Penn State last year? What they were while they were trying to make a run for the championship. Yep. And so that like you said, that mess is still kind of there. What shouldn't have a huge impact. Of course, as we know, this directly tied to school. You'd love to just say, well, at least they could just finish that season out and then move on to the next thing. But we know school, starts in January. So it's that is one thing. Maybe you can get a waiver or something if a guy wants to do that. I would appreciate that. But again, it's hard to get your school schedule started that way. But that is wonderful. I would love, and especially when you kind of bring up the spring game and some of these moves. I mean, you look at Matt Rule. And the moves he made haven't always been the most popular ones, including kind of taking that spring game away. And they remember they put something out there that resembled the game. It was a bunch of guys on the lower end of the depth chart, and it was just done too late. And so you didn't have that big a crowd. I'm with you. I was at the Husker games, and it was cool. I mean, it was basically what I think they should do is take that format, put a little bit more game to it. But I like bringing back, the legends. I like some of the extra stuff you do in there to keep it exciting. So I loved what they did there. It was the crowd that kind of brought it down in my mind. It's because they wanted to see a game. So, again, more reason to get the spring game. But when you combine that now and these changing rules, as well as, the SEC adding a 9th conference game moving forward, Matt Rule does look like he's getting out in front of these things. Whether they're right decision, wrong decision in the long run, you can at least see he's bucking against what he feels is in disadvantage toward Nebraska. And so far, those rules are kind of being adjusted to in the college football realm altogether.
We never did get a chat about that. The 9 conference schedule that the SEC is going to. And don't forget, they've actually won up the Big Ten because now their teams have to play one Power 4 conference. We did briefly mention that, but we never really dove into it. So the SEC, a couple of weeks ago, you probably know, fine folks out there, for those who don't, SEC will now play 9 conference games going forward, starting 2026, and one Power 4 conference opponent within their non-conference schedule, which the Big Ten has not mandated. So I assume the Big Ten is going to have to match that. As much complaining, I'm included in this, as we did about them playing, which was ridiculous, 8 conference games and scheduling another basically bye-week FCS opponent right before their biggest games or rivalry weekend games at the end of the year. The Big Ten, I assume, will match. Now, I think I made a joke of this. I was like, oh, Georgia's going to be calling Rutgers and all these other schools like that now to try to fill the quota of the one power conference opponent within their non-conference schedule. But we'll see what happens. But I like that step in the right direction. I've said all winter that I would hate to be a college football coach right now. I don't know that you could pay me enough. But I've also said there's light at the end of the tunnel because people know this can't go on forever. I just didn't know how far away the light was, how dim it was, or how long the tunnel was. It appears that it's a shorter tunnel rather than it is longer, and that excites me. 9 conference games, 1 Power 4 non-conference opponent being mandated. I expect the Big Ten to match that. Oh, the ACC is still playing 8 conference games, by the way, but I'm sure that they're going to try to figure that out as well. They have 17 teams, so that's going to be interesting how that math works. I saw a quote from one of their ADs. They literally basically said they're the smartest conference academically and we'll figure it out. Don't worry. It was supposed to be sarcastic, but honestly, it kind of came off as really snooty, to be honest with you. It was an attempt at a joke. Not every joke's a home run. Just try to get on first, even if you get hit by the pitch sometimes. So that was the kind of I got hit by the pitch type joke. It wasn't really a great one, but you got on first. And so for me, I expect this to be pretty much the same across the board, all power conferences, 9 conference games, which everyone's doing right now except the ACC, SEC. That will change, and then 1 Power 4 non-conference opponent, 1 portal window for 10 days, January 2nd. I do think, and I've said this, the national championship could either be the Rose Bowl January 1st. I would love that idea. I love the idea of the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, like the final 4 teams playing, and then you have the national championship after that. I just have more football to watch on New Year's Day. And then you can have regular, like your best bowl games in the morning, and then you have the national championship game. I'd give them more than a week, maybe 10 days, kind of build up the hype, let guys get healthy. So maybe January 11th, January 10th every year becomes a national championship. And then you could actually have the portal. Let's say it's January 10th every year, national championship, unless it's a Sunday. Okay. Is your national championship game. Then January 11th, the portal opens till January 21st. This is down the road. Ideal, my creme de la creme world that I want to live in and hopefully someday actually comes to fruition. You'd have to move back the academic calendar. I know some people are going to bucket that, and I'm going to be like, let's be real. Everything pretty much revolves around money, revenue, and that is driven by football. It is what it is. Not trying to be overly confident here, but it is what it is. So everyone would adjust. And I think that's a utopian world that we could potentially get to. And I'm so excited to see this because I'm like, man, that light at the end of the tunnel is getting closer and closer and closer. Maybe sanity will return to college football sooner rather than later. Any final thoughts before we head to break here, Jake?
Well, I mean, just that, I think this week kind of proved it too. You saw 3 top 10 matchups, the 3 teams that lost. They're all close games. They all stayed in the top 10. The SEC move here. I think there's more of a push now again toward making the playoff, improving your schedule, being that, that being a big part of it. And that's what the committee is going to have to follow up on. Because the SEC is doing this, these big matchups are happening. So the committee looks at strength of schedule and not preseason strength of schedule, right, where the SEC teams are all loaded up front. Looks at the strength of schedule and what you're trying to do with the conference slate and non-con slate more specifically going into that. Because a lot of this to me, it's less about being undefeated now, right? Yep. That's why the SEC is kind of doing that movement with these kind of auto bids floating out there, all that sort of stuff. It's less about being undefeated. So a part of me cries for college football what it once was.
Yep.
A part of me says, okay, at least we're all getting on board with what it is now and what it is meant to be moving forward.
All right. So I've been informed that due to the power outage yesterday, clips may not be possible today. That's okay. 3 of them we'd held on to for a week because one of us wasn't here all week. That's okay. They were still good. We were still going to roll with them. But the one, it's basically a girlfriend entrapping a boyfriend, and that is evergreen funny. And so we will save that for some time next week. So no clips today unless we are told otherwise. One of us, or both of us, mostly me though, did really bad in our picks last week. So we should probably expose that next segment. Have a little bit of fun with that. And I like what you said. It's not so much about going undefeated anymore. Strength of schedule matters. Their strength of schedule metrics have changed, hence why the SEC has changed what they're doing, which will have a ricochet effect to the Big Ten and everyone else. So I do like the direction college football is going. It is a very different direction. It is not the utopian world that I lived in and you lived in and most fans lived in where it was all about the regular season, but there are good things about this. You look at some of the matchups in the playoffs that we're going to get down the road potentially, and some of the matchups were in these mega conferences. Like we would have never seen a lot of the matchups that we're getting now. Penn State, Oregon, and Texas. Ohio State was out of conference, but Texas, Bama, Texas, Georgia, all these kind of within conference schedule matchups that we're going to get now. So there are a lot of positives. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. When we come back, you can all laugh and scoff at how horrifically horrible I was at picking games last week. Jake was only slightly better, but you were technically better.
That's right.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers this morning. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, the light breeze, and the high around 67. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, the low around 46. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light wind and the high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ready for all the benefits of soft water? High-quality water softeners installed with no arm-twisting contracts. Call 467-1111 Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Oh, Kansas.
Here we go.
Second half today. You just don't stop giving, do you?
Green flag, we're underway.
The closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. Close to downtown, amazing campgrounds. 3 NASCAR races in one weekend, and it's the playoffs.
You guys can't drive.
Now you're just showing off. But we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 26th through the 28th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovebneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Jordan here with Sartor Heyman Jewelers, inviting you to join us as we celebrate Sartor Heyman's 120th anniversary with an exclusive designer handbag trunk show, September 5th and 6th at our South Point Pavilion store. Explore a curated collection of pre-owned handbags from the world's most coveted designers and be the first to discover our newest fine jewelry collections for the season. See you at Sartor Heyman at South Point Pavilions, September 5th and 6th.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. One guy says I should throat punch you. Throat punch him, Adam. That's what one texter thinks I should throat punch you. I don't know why, but I'm in support of. I'm not in support of violence. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Mulberry BBQ at 61st and Highway 2. We're here from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time today. Come join us again. Mulberry BBQ, 61st and Highway 2. At 12 o'clock, we've already got some people putting their names in. We're going to be giving out a $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card at high noon. Also, once again, can everybody hear that echo? Is that just me? All right, I'm going to keep talking. Hopefully get fixed. All right, it's at 12:30, a $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card as well. And at 12:55, a pair of tickets for the Nebraska-Akron game. Now, we were told that some people could hear the clip as it was being played earlier. We couldn't hear anything. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and try to roll that clip again, okay? And we'll see how it goes. So we just look there, Jake. Go ahead and roll that clip.
No clip.
No clips. All right. So no clip. All right. I can see from the text line that some people could hear the clip and we could not. So we'll see how that goes in the future. Probably on Monday or Tuesday. It's always much funnier after a win. I expect us to win. So we'll probably be rolling that Monday or Tuesday sometime next week. All right. You can also have fun here. It's just more at our expense this time. Our predictions from last week, Jake.
I do.
What were our predictions? How did we do? And why did I score as many points in the W column prediction-wise as Akron did on the scoreboard on the football field?
So we picked 4 games.
Yeah.
Let's start with Alabama.
Okay.
Both of us went with Alabama.
Ugh.
Florida State won 31-17.
By the way, what a great game.
It was a great game, yeah.
Dude,
a lot of fun.
That's the okay.
Bama
Florida State. Well, if you're a Bama fan, I'm just sorry for you in general, but Florida State last year, that team quit. Nick Saban doesn't go to their preseason practices and go, "This is a top 10 team that's going to win the ACC for no reason." There aren't NFL scouts during their fall camps saying these guys are high draft picks come April, and then people are like they're 2-10. They were 1-10 versus FBS teams. That happens because the team quit. You watch Florida State on Saturday, and yes, people are going to bring up Tony White and Terrence Knight and all this other stuff. Kudos to them. I shot Tony a text. He immediately responded afterwards. Congrats on the big win. He loved it. And the way that team played, it's like every play was for their lives. And then you watch Bama, and there's clips that are going viral of guys yogging, not jogging, Jake, yogging. How they flipped that script in Tallahassee, effort-wise, culture-wise, team being bought in-wise versus not, is amazing. Now, it's a long season. Can they sustain consistency? That's the question. If you're Alabama, you've got issues and you've got problems. All right, we don't have to dive too much into this, but what's your initial reaction? Because I'm really just trying to distract from the fact that I got all these games wrong. But go ahead.
It was an incredible game. Of course, the Husker connection. Again, I think we were told about the Florida State coaching staff in the offseason to actually watch it play out with Gus Malzahn and Tony White out there as the coordinators. I mean, you could tell. I mean, that's a veteran, well-coached staff or well-coached team. And so we'll see. I mean, the question still lays out there because of Alabama's recent struggles. Is Florida State good or is Alabama that bad? Because Alabama last year lost a few teams that kind of hovered around 500. So this does not necessarily mean Florida State is going to contend for the ACC. Again, because they lost the likes of like a Vanderbilt or, a Michigan team that won 8 games last year. Several of the games have been to teams that aren't all that good. Oklahoma was less 6-7 last year and beat Alabama. So we don't necessarily know after week 1 if Florida State is good, but we know Alabama's in trouble. And so that I think is the biggest the takeaway from that game, because then now all of a sudden, like we're talking about what we've always said and we always know, going through the Frank Solich era, following a legend is hard. There are every sort of comparison to Nick Saban right now in his first couple of games or his entire career compared to what they've got going on there with Kalen DeBoer, who I've said it before. I believed it was going to work out because of what he did at Washington.
Dude, he's
it was
a good
miracle.
coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach. Maybe there's a culture fit. Maybe there's just the fact that you're not Saban. But it is not looking good for Alabama.
Alabama is 5-5 in their last 10 games. That Oklahoma loss, that wasn't like 21-20. It was 24-3, and it was a curb stomping from the get-go. So they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. They've lost more games to unranked teams since Kalen DeBoer became the head coach, which, by the way, was not even just over a year ago, than Nick Saban lost in over a decade to unranked teams as Alabama's head coach. So they got some issues down there. All right, next game, my friend. Gus.
Right.
Sorry, I said all offseason the two best offensive coordinators in America, in my opinion, were Gus Malzahn, okay, and Dana Holgorsen. You recall me saying that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Next game.
Yeah, fair enough. That's very good head coaching careers from both those guys. LSU and Clemson. We both thought the ACC favorite Clemson was going to come through and win this one. LSU wins 17-10.
This is a great game. I've said all offseason this is, and I picked Clemson. I was wrong. I have Clemson in the final as one of my final 4 teams. I have LSU as part of my top final 8 teams. This is all preseason, by the way. Mid-season, I may have to reevaluate and change, but for now, I got to stick with my preseason stuff. I've said all offseason, LSU. This is the best roster they've had in 5 years. All right, Garrett Nussmeier all of a sudden is like a Heisman front runner. He's like a top 5 draft pick again. Can they sustain this week after week? The difference is they've been able to score since Brian Kelly got there. They couldn't stop anybody. Now, all of a sudden, they got a really good defense. These are 2 teams that could be in the college football playoff, playing on New Year's Day and playing past New Year's Day. That was a tough game to call and predict. I honestly felt like Alabama was a little bit easier, and then, that went. Florida State almost made it look easy. And then this was a tough game to predict. I kind of went with Clemson just because I didn't know what to make of LSU and Brian Kelly just yet, other than I like their roster. LSU, watch out for them this year. What say you, Jake?
Well, of course, the popular stat going into that one is LSU had lost 5 straight openers, so it was like, all right, well, it's tough to trust them here. But they do come through and get the win. It's funny, the evaluation from each coach this past week was that Dabo Swinney was playing it down, saying, yeah, it was like the opening week test. They got a 65, we got a 58. And Coach Kelly on the other side said, "Did he watch the second half?" I mean, LSU feels pretty good about their win. Clemson's kind of shrugging it off, so kind of a funny reaction there. Our next game that we had, we both picked Notre Dame to defeat Miami, but Carson Beck and the Hurricanes outlasted Notre Dame 27-24.
So, real quick, Clemson, they're now 0-4 versus their last 4 SEC opponents. They got to fix that slide. You look at Notre Dame, Miami. I went with Notre Dame just because I felt like it was safer. I felt like I knew more about Notre Dame. I honestly thought Miami had higher upside but a lower floor, so I went with what I thought was the safer pick. Now, 6 straight times in that series, the home team has now won, Notre Dame versus Miami, all right, when it's a battle of top 10 teams anyways. So going forward, pick the home team in that series. But Carson Beck, this was a dude who was much maligned last year. Georgia's always had a top 15 rushing offense in the country. They were 94th last year. They always have elite wide receivers, right? A.J. Green, etc. Last year, they led the nation in drops. This was a dude who preseason, a lot of Heisman lists, top, like a first-round draft pick. By the end of it, he was much maligned, and he absolutely could have played better. But I think for him, it's a fresh start in a new spot. And all of a sudden, guys go from leading the nation in drops as a wide receiving core to one-handed amazing touchdown grabs. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That one-handed grab. Like, that's what he's working with now. All of a sudden, Miami can play a little bit of defense, and they've got an offensive line. The 2 best offensive lines in the country might be Penn State, Miami. Keep an eye out. Penn State, Miami, man, if they can continue to win in the trenches, and Notre Dame's a physical team, like, with all due respect, that wasn't a Cincinnati or something like that. That was frickin' Notre Dame who beat you in the trenches, and Miami's offensive line didn't gash them, but they won the battle, and they won it fairly decisively, in my humble opinion. So the ACC, all of a sudden, watch out. Florida State, Miami. Don't just jump off the Clemson bandwagon. I'm still fully on it. LSU's very good. Plus, first game of the season, they may play again tomorrow, and Clemson might win. So for me, the ACC all of a sudden is finally worth watching again. What say you?
Well, in Miami specifically, it doesn't take long for my old Miami hate to come out again.
Who are you rooting for during the game?
Notre Dame.
Oh, you were? Okay.
It is, because it's funny. I like college football when the good, the classic teams are better, and Miami's one of them. But and I say that even when Texas was down, and I hate Texas more than any other team. But it's funner to cheer against them when they're good than when they're bad. One season of them going 5-7 is fun to pile up on them and yell at them.
Yep.
But if it's a decade or longer, or whatever it is, just kind of like I gotta miss hating them when they're boasting at the top, and that's what maybe this game represented. Miami, I had a lot of questions about, and that was a team I didn't really believe in necessarily. Cam Ward had to kind of save them in a lot of situations last year defensively. And that was kind of look with LSU and in Miami here. It was not just that they won, but their defenses played really well against top 10 opponents. And that gives you a lot more excitement moving forward if you're in those fan bases, and more reason for me to cheer against Miami on the screen.
Not to look ahead to our next pick, but my wife doesn't even say Texas anymore. When she says "gag me you," she doesn't even realize she's saying it anymore.
Nice.
I have trained her through this radio show to not say Texas and just say "gag me you." Who do you have winning the ACC, by the way? You should not listen to anything we say, and whoever we say pick the opposite teams after last weekend and our prediction failures. But who you got winning the ACC?
Well, it's tough. Like I said, I want to see more from Florida State because Alabama struggles against a lot of people lately. Clemson, like you said, I wouldn't jump off their bandwagon, but Miami was mightily impressive. I'm not going to all the way lean in. Notre Dame again. Remember, lost to Northern Illinois early last season. It's all tough to kind of break away from your preseason picks. I think I went with Clemson. I'll stick with them, but Miami certainly makes it a little bit more interesting now, and Florida State certainly as well.
You're sticking with Clemson?
Yeah.
And just keep in mind, for those who have not come around to the Cincinnati game, maybe it was a little better than you initially felt after the game. Just remember, to Jake's point, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois and then went and played for a national title. So basically, Jake's saying Nebraska is going to play for a national title. Is that what you just said? Is that what I deciphered?
Well, I think I need to make up some points. People want to now, so yeah, I think so.
Oh man. Again, don't listen to anything I say when it comes to predicting right now, but I'm going to stick with Clemson. Again, I'm with you. I got to see more out of Florida State consistency-wise. All right. And to me, it was either Clemson or Miami after the weekend was over. I'm going to stick with Clemson. I think they played the best team I'm going to stick with three really good teams because Alabama's still talented. They can put it together. I mean, just remember how people felt about Ohio State going into the college football playoff, and then look what Ohio State did. So Alabama's not dead in the water. And they got some issues, but they're not dead in the water. All right, gag me you versus Ohio State. The only game either one of us got right, so winner's going to go first. You got this right. You go first.
Yeah, because I'm a genius, I picked Ohio State. All offseason was looking toward that game. Was a close one. Not a whole lot of offense here. I was texting my friends, "Hey, Arch Manning still hasn't scored. How's he going to win a Heisman?" But in any case, 14-7, Ohio State doubles up. Texas gets the win. This was my one pick that I got right, so I get to celebrate here.
Hey, you know what? Technically, we both got Nebraska, Cincinnati right.
That's right.
Does that count?
True. Yeah,
that counts.
Sure.
All right. I actually went with Gag Me You. That's when I'm trying to be objective and I'm biased when I go with them. Here's the scary thing. And Arch Manning's going to bounce back. He's going to be just fine. I know people are crapping all over him right now. His own dad, during I'm going to say Texas, not Gag Me You. During Texas's camp, there's a clip going around. We can't play clips today. That basically Cooper Manning says they're going to hype him up. He's going to have a bad game, and then they're all going to tear him down. And it just happened to be game one against maybe the best team in the country. And my good Lord, does that defense look really good for Ohio State. So what's scary? Arch Manning struggles. It's kind of like Dylan. I wasn't going to hand Dylan All-American or Heisman Trophy candidacy or anything like that this year. I didn't do it with Arch either. My expectations were a little bit higher for Arch, but I wasn't there with him yet either because he never even started a game away from Austin yet. And he struggles. Okay, he'll be fine. He'll bounce back. He'll play well. We might start to see his ceiling come to fruition a little bit more a season from now, but you never know what can happen. But he struggles. Texas's offense struggles. They still only lost by a touchdown on the road to the number one team in the country, the defending national champions, and they had it on the 1-inch line away from tying that game. That's what's scary. Is that game went the way that it did, and they still were 1 inch away from tying it on the road and taking that game to overtime. Do not write off Texas, all right, as hard as that is for me to say. But Ohio State, man, Matt Patricia did a phenomenal job. That defense is for real. Julian Sand, we had the number one quarterback in the entire country in his class, Arch Manning, versus Julian Sand, who was the number one quarterback in the entire country in his class, which was Dylan's class, going head-to-head here. Julian Sand actually – Jeremiah Smith had 2 easy drops. There was other drops in the game. Sand played really well, especially for a young guy. He didn't have to do a lot at all because the defense was locked down. So both those teams, again, they're teams that could very well make a national championship rematch or a Final Four, or I almost said Elite Eight like I'm talking NCAA basketball tournament. Those Sweet 16, they're going to be in the playoff. Let's go North Carolina, TCU, a game we did not predict, so at least we didn't get it wrong. Wow. Did you see that coming? Nobody saw that coming. What was your reaction to whatever that was on Monday at Chapel Hill?
Man, I to be clear, I like North Carolina football, so I was getting excited. The pregame was all about North Carolina. That first drive, they went, looked down, looked flawless. You're thinking, man, this Belichick Carolina thing's going to happen. This is going to be fun. And from there, nothing went right the rest of the game. TCU piles up on them, scores the most points anybody's ever scored on a Belichick defense. So it's, I mean, the reaction is probably what it should be. If again, a lot of this stuff is just these expectations that we build in these brands that we build, even in coaches or players, the Arch Mannings, the Bill Belichicks. It's a team game, and oftentimes circumstance is going to win the situation more often than not. There are very few times when someone can overcome that. We look back at the Indiana situation. Who's going to be this year's Indiana? Who's going to be able? That is such a minute chance of anything going. Just look at Nebraska. Nebraska hired a coach that wins in year 3. We'll see if that happens. But they hired a guy that his resume kind of said that's what was going to happen. And what's happened so far is kind of that slow build. So a lot of it is just tough to overcome the offseason. It just reminds me, the offseason, we build up these brands again to feel undefeated or to feel like, Belichick in college football, he's labeling themselves the 33rd pro team or whatever it is. They got a long way to go for that.
All right, we better head to break. I will give my final thoughts on Belichick, TCU. All offseason, if you've listened to me, I feel like I've said that a lot today, all offseason. All right, I got my offseason stuff that I said right, just not game 1 predictions. So I get a little bit of credit while I also get laughed at the same time. It's okay. I said, I don't think he's taking it serious. Like, this is a different Bill Belichick than I've ever seen, and he's not taking it serious. And I'm going to save the rest of my thoughts when we come back because we are like 5 minutes late going to break. Let's head to break. When we come back, we will recap Nebraska-Akron very briefly, and we made some in-game predictions. Neither one of us got those right as well. Also, North Carolina, TCU, and then hour 2, we'll be purely looking ahead to Nebraska-Akron. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and today I'm eating Raising Cane's. I want a solid bench of 4 chicken fingers, crinkle-cut fries with Texas toast. Now back to you, Todd.
So the usual.
Make Raising Cane's part of your game day lineup.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovebneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
Oh, Kansas.
Here we go. Second half today.
You just don't stop giving, do you?
Green flag, we're underway.
The closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. Close to downtown, amazing campgrounds, 3 NASCAR races in 1 weekend, and it's the playoffs.
God can't drive.
Now you're just showing off. But we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 26th through the 28th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Break out the Lederhosen and raise a stein. Oktoberfest is this Friday at Kincaidor in the Haymarket. Music and food service start at 4 p.m. and the party goes on through the night. Expect cold beer, German eats, and all the Bavarian fun you can handle at Oktoberfest this Friday night at Kincaidor in the Haymarket. MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Rolloffs, cleanup made simple.
Ready for all the benefits of soft water? High-quality water softeners installed with no arm-twisting contracts. Call 467-1111 Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Again, we are live at Mulberry BBQ. We're going to be giving away a $25 gift certificate card here at High Noon, which is 5 minutes. Another one, $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card at 12:30, and a pair of tickets to Nebraska versus Akron right before the end of the show at 12:55. All right, final thoughts. North Carolina, Bill Belichick, TCU. Bill Belichick was not Bill Belichicking. He was living out the college life that I don't think he ever got to live. I know him not much, but I know him enough to know that he didn't do a whole lot. He didn't socialize a whole lot. Life was ball. There was no emotion. There wasn't a whole lot of fun. Even after a Super Bowl, he'd maybe smile once in 24 hours and get on to the next year. Hey, it led to great success, but it's like the kid who's cooped up their entire life, then gets out of the house and goes nuts. And I'm not saying Belichick went nuts, but he's enjoying some things I don't think he really enjoyed before, now that he's kind of like enjoying the college life. And, the scoreboard said, you need to fix football. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. He's a great coach. I know everyone's like, it's all about Brady, etc. Well, he had 2 Super Bowls with the Giants before he ever got to the Patriots. You don't win 6 just because of one player. It's a player, it's a coach, and other players and people in that regime as well. Although I do think probably more people may give credit to Tom than Bill at this point, and that's okay. All right, Nebraska-Akron. We both technically got the game right as far as who was going to, Nebraska-Cincinnati, who was going to win the game. But we had in-game predictions. I made 2. I don't remember one of them. But the other one was Dylan. It doesn't matter because I had to get both right. And I didn't get the one I can remember right, which was Dylan Riley was going to throw 3 touchdowns. Didn't happen in the game. So I got yet another prediction wrong last weekend. I'm going to wipe that slate clean. And I'm just going to stick to what I said in the offseason because that seemed to be more accurate. And I'm going to move forward after this weekend. What about you, Jake? Did you get your in-game predictions right?
No, I said that Harburg would be involved in a touchdown. That did not happen. I also said Sierra Wright got an interception. Matter of fact, I would have said Hartzog. I would have been pretty excited there at the end, even more than everybody else. But, we'll see. They didn't throw it Sierra Wright,
no.
So he didn't get much of a chance at it. So we'll see. Maybe that can happen this week.
All right. Kind of a final thought on week 1 before we move on to week 2 here. You watch Bama FSU. You watch North Carolina TCU. You watch the hype. You watch a lot of things that go into these games. And you realize the eye test doesn't matter that much until you actually get to play football. I hate it when people say eye test. Oh, the eye test, the eye test. That's a fancy way of saying my opinion is. That's all you're saying is my opinion is. That's always driven me nuts. Your opinion, you're entitled to it, doesn't mean you're right. Let's see what happens on the football field. And then the other thing that happens week 1 is usually like some of the biggest reactions of the entire year, which isn't entirely unjustified because you've been waiting for so long and you get to see football. So you're going to have a stronger reaction because you haven't had one in a while. You haven't had a game to watch, a game to react to. So I get that. That's fair. It's also probably the week I would point to and say you should react to the least because we're learning the least because there's the most amount of question marks. And this team will look completely different in 6 weeks and another 6 weeks. And so it's hard because it's the week where you're probably learning the least because the greatest improvement will be made from week 1 to week 2, and then they'll continue to change and evolve. They might run different formations. Different players might start a month from now because they earn it over the course of games. But it's just kind of what happens with week ones is what makes college football so much freaking fun. But if you're a Husker fan, just keep that in mind going forward over the next couple of weeks as we get ready for Akron, all right, Houston Christian, and Michigan. Any final thoughts before we head to break and get to hour 2 and give away a pair of tickets? Gift card, $25 gift card to Mulberry BBQ, Jake.
Yeah, no, just come on down. We're giving out barbecue and tickets to football. What's better than that? So come on down to Mulberry BBQ here at 61st and Highway 2. You still got plenty of time. We're going to do the one gift card giveaway here in just a second, like you said, but we still got one at 12:30, and then the tickets away, the Nebraska Akron tickets at 12:55. So come on down, have some fun into your football points. Yeah, just remember, it is a long season. Nebraska might be a 9-win team, but it wasn't going to happen overnight. They're going to kind of have to build their way into that, and maybe learning to win those close games like they did is going to help along the way because there's going to be several more close games, I bet you, on the way to 9 wins if they do get to that peak.
We had 6 one-score games last year. I think we're going to have at least 6 this year. Hopefully we flip the record from 2-4 in those one-score games to at least 4-2. If not better. It's so much more fun to overreact. So, Jake, why do we have to be logical and sensible? That doesn't make I want to overreact to everything. Like Matt Rule's necklace. What do you think of his necklace? Let's overreact to his ice.
He's pretty cool these days. I think he dresses pretty well. I don't know
You
if
like
he does
that?
it himself. Yeah, he looks completely different than what we would have, expected from Tom Osborne back then.
Oh, could you imagine Coach Osborne in one of those?
I know.
Let's spend the next hour talking about Coach Rule's bling. How's that sound?
It sounds great.
No, it doesn't. Let's get back to football. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Break out the Lederhosen and raise a stein. Oktoberfest is this Friday at Kincaidor in the Haymarket. Music and food service start at 4 p.m. and the party goes on through the night. Expect cold beer, German eats, and all the Bavarian fun you can handle at Oktoberfest this Friday night at Kincaidor in the Haymarket.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
M Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store. Family owned and operated, located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. Go bold this summer and fall with endless possibilities. Stop in now for the best selection on sweaters, outerwear, suits, sport coats, dress pants, and dress shirts. M Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers this morning. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, with a light breeze and a high around 67. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, the low around 46. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska insider today.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking top models from Can-Am, Kawasaki, Honda, Polaris, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycle, Sea-Doo, and Triton trailers. Score big on our massive selection of Can-Am side-by-sides with rebates up to $3,000 on select in-stock models. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for football season. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's time. Time to give away some free stuff. We love giving away stuff. All right, today we are giving away right here, right now, and again at 12:30, a $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card. Again, we are on location at 61st and Highway 2. Mulberry BBQ. Come join us. Today's lunch special, Burt ends dinner plate with a drink for just $17. Also, stop by and put your name in during our broadcast today. And if you win, we will contact you. All right, Jake. No pressure, but you need to pick a name. Or am I doing it? You mix it up, I'll pick them? Okay.
I mixed it up. It's ready to be picked.
All right, here we go.
Randomly.
I'm going to close my eyes because it matters. All right. The winner of the $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card is Brenda Faith. She left. All right, but we have a number. All right, Brenda, congratulations. Hopefully you're listening. If you get a call, no, it's not a creepy guy. It's just Jake Sorensen calling to give you your $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card. All right, we'll give away another one at 12:30 as well. All right, Jake, it's time, my man. Let's look ahead. Nebraska, Akron. And I'm looking at the comments. We're getting on the text line. And Joe in Boulder. Oh, Boulder. That figures. All right. By the way, there is no way. That should be a comma, dude, not a period. I mean, if you're going to knock us from Boulder, you got to get grammatically correct here. But if you're in Nebraska, grammar doesn't matter. All right. By the way, there is no way Nebraska is covering the spread. The last time I looked, it was 34.5. Is it still 34.5, Jake? Do you know?
I can look it up, but yeah, that was the last time I heard too.
So I actually, I'll give away my. Should I give away my score prediction? I said it.
Yeah.
I said it earlier this week. I think I just put it out on social media as well. I always reserve the right to change my mind. I'm not changing my mind. If it is still 34.5, what is it?
34.5. Yep.
What's the over/under? I always make you look up stuff, and it's never right in front of you.
Like 47.5?
That's what it was last time. We're going to go with 47.5 because that's what it was yesterday when I looked. I am taking Nebraska to cover, but the under. Good guys, 38. The other guys, do you think we're going to shut them out?
Ooh,
That's what I'm pausing for.
Yeah.
Because Wyoming shut them out.
That's right.
The other guy's 3.
Uh-oh.
I have 3 just because the odds of getting shut out twice in a row. I mean, you truly have to be really bad on offense. Also, that ball bounces funny ways. Maybe they get a random bounce of the ball. The drive starts at our 30 and they go backwards 5 yards and make a 52-yard field goal for all I know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to go 38-3. They don't get shut out 2 weeks in a row, although that is one of my personal goals for Nebraska. Like, you want to bounce back as a defense. Shut out the opponent. I don't care who it is. Like, just shut out. The first shutout I was ever a part of was Troy State. You got to keep in mind, this was when Troy State first joined Division I football. So you look back on it now, like, oh, Troy's relatively decent. I mean, they're not like a power or anything like that, or a Power 4 team. But it was like just shutting anybody out is never easy to do because the ball does bounce funny. So my goal for Nebraska's defense is to actually shut out Akron, who lost 10-0 to Wyoming last week. It was actually 3-0 with 5 minutes to go. It's part of the reason I'm taking the under. I want to see more explosive plays from our offense. And I want the defense to bounce back. Akron, they play physical football. Now, they're not going to overwhelm you with individual talent, but they play physical football. So my score prediction, good guys 38, other guys 3. I got Nebraska to cover. I am taking the under. Where you at on this, Jake?
Yeah, not a bad prediction. I probably go land in the same type of area. 45-7 is probably what I'd probably fall on. Like you said, chance for an upset or for a shutout here for Nebraska. We're all going to be cheering for it. Haven't had one since Ndamukong Suh was on campus. His final game against Arizona and Nick Foles and them. So it's been a while.
That long?
It's been a long time since Nebraska's had a shutout. So again, maybe that also factors into why I might not predict that one here. But the Zips are again, it's kind of the same type of thing when you kind of break down their game and go away from, well, they didn't even score, so that's a pretty rough start, right? But you only lose to 10 to Wyoming. That's not too bad. Now this is also, it should be stated, it's not Craig Bohl's Wyoming. Craig Bohl went 9-4 there his final year a couple years ago, handed it off. I think they won 3 games last year, and then obviously starting off with this victory over Akron. So they've got a little bit to do there too. But I think hopefully for Nebraska, they finish off a lot of drives. I don't want to see a lot of field goals. I'd love to see our field goal kicker get, maybe a few in, but hopefully kind of finishing off drives, be able to show off a little bit more of an explosive offense, which potentially there, which was a big topic this week too. And a lot of that had to do with Cincinnati's defense, not letting anything behind them. They specifically played for you not to get those big plays against you. But even still for Nebraska and coach, I think a couple of the coaches said it, but I think it was Holgerson said, you got to work on, you got to break some tackles. They only had like 4 tackles. You got to be able to do that. Downfield blocking again, being questioned in here. So again, a lot of it is kind of sharpening what they had going into this game, or what maybe was not quite up to the expectation from week 1. Here's your opportunity to kind of fix that, and I think we'll all be happy if that's the case. Again, this is a close game. We got a lot more to talk about, which it might be good for radio programming, not good for the season maybe altogether.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is your official? You said 45-7.
Yeah.
So you got more scoring than I do. I want to revisit that. Apparently, you see some more explosive plays coming. And I want to explore why you think that'll happen. I'll explore why or why not I think that may or may not happen. But first, you don't have the paper in front of you, but I know you know it by heart. Jake, what is that text line number?
402-464-5685.
Nicely done. You know how bad that would have been had you got that wrong. I complete faith in you. Text us in. What is your score prediction for Nebraska versus Akron Saturday? By the way, somehow I'm looking at the comments from the morning show, and one guy thinks that Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple should be institutionalized. What are your thoughts on that in general, Jake Bachman? Jake Sorensen says agreed. What are your thoughts?
Well,
Bach?
it depends on, again, just what triggers him. After a Miami Dolphins loss, I think that maybe that would be the case. And Sipple, I don't know what necessarily triggers him. We'd have to kind of figure out a little bit more on that.
All right. Let's send us your score predictions. So you seem a little bit more confident because I took the under. I even went back and looked at last year's scores when I was coming with my score prediction for this game. Do you know how many times we scored over 38 points last year? Which I picked 38 for a reason. You know how many times we scored over 38 last year?
Wisconsin. One.
UTEP was 40.
UTEP, okay.
And
yeah.
Wisconsin was 44
That's
twice.
right.
That's
There you
it. Now, we're playing a team that just allowed 10 points to Wyoming. So I'm like, oh. Like, I even looked at the Boston College game because I remember we could move the ball in that game early on. We had 20 points at the end of it. We've got to find a way. We found a way to take care of the ball. What was it, 3 or 4 penalties in the first game of the year? That's actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I got no problem with that. But explosive plays. Now, how much of that is Cincinnati's better than they were? How much of that is Cincinnati, the way they play defense? And in fairness, you break down the film, they were trying to keep everything in front of them, so I get it. All right, but the ability to get that key block at the right time. Rule talked in his press conference on Monday. He seemed relatively frustrated with especially the return game and special teams. Like, we average 1.5 yards per punt return. Now, we're one game in. Okay, Ja'Cory Barney's too good for that to continue to happen as a punt returner. But you got to get the key block, the key time. You got to make the right blocks consistently on your return game, and that'll get you some free points right there. Gives you easy points, kind of like Vincent Shaver's fumble that he caused, gave Nebraska the ball 24-yard line of Cincinnati. Can we have special teams that gives us good field position, whether it's Akron's 24 or Akron's 48 or on their side of the field, maybe their 5-yard line, the 40-yard line, whatever the case may be. So can we do that special teams-wise, not offensively? True playmakers don't go to the ground easy. I go back to that Florida State game. I go back to their running backs. I go back to their quarterbacks. When they ran wide receiver screens, we're going to move on from that last year. Like, those dudes made people miss. Part of that was lack of effort on Bama. Not lack of talent. Number 1 talent composite ranking team in the country. But Florida State found a way to break tackles and make guys miss. We got to be able to do that more consistently. So for me, I'm going to stick with 38-3. I love your score prediction. I don't love that you predicted a touchdown for them, but I love that your score prediction is higher offensively for us. So I hope you're right and I'm wrong, although our spread is relatively the same. But why do you feel Nebraska is going to have more explosive plays this year?
Well, a lot of this has to do,
Saturday,
with Akron's defense. Again, maybe a good start there against Wyoming, not a bad start anyway. But you look at it its last several years, and they're kind of resetting. I mean, like I said, a lot of these different teams are. So I don't know if it's completely fair to look at their defensive numbers from last year. But they were 108th in the nation, giving up 414 yards per game, 110th in the nation, giving up 32 points per game, 124th in the nation, and only creating 10 turnovers. They had 1 interception last week. If they get one this week, they will match what they had all of last year. They only had 2 picks last year, and only 18 sacks last year. That was 111. So their defense really struggled last year. Again, looking good in the opener against Wyoming. Still, like I said, kind of questioning what Wyoming program is that? Is that the program from a few years ago that was just under Craig Bowl in general, which was a pretty darn good program, or the 3-9 team from the year before? First year, it's tough to tell. So maybe that defense did pick it up. They just don't have a whole lot of numbers to support that. And then the other thing is, you look at regardless their last, I think, 6 matchups against Power 4 opponents. None of them has been particularly close. So I just think this is a program in Akron too. You look at it, I think it's since 2005, something like that. They've only had 2 winning seasons. I mean, it is a tough place to win, and it's a tough place to build a program. They're picked 11th out of 13th in the preseason MAC poll, tied for 11th actually, so 11th through 12th. So it's just a game. It's partially prediction hope and partially just hope. I want to see Nebraska return to this again. I don't think Akron has a very good running game that's going to get going. It's going to be bad if it does, right? That's what the kind of the concern for Nebraska coming in. I don't know how this Akron team scores too particularly well against Nebraska. I think that defensive secondary is going to feast on Akron's passing game. So it's all kind of it's dependent on if the Zips can get anything going in their ground game, if they can keep this competitive, in my mind.
So non-quarterback related, we allowed 112 rush yards last week, which sure sounds a lot better than 202 rush yards. When you factor in quarterback, mostly him scrambling and running around. Not a lot of them were quarterback designed runs. Few, not a lot. If Akron rushes for over 100, then we have legit concerns in our ground game. I do not expect them to. I really don't. My goals for the defense: hold Akron under 100 yards rushing, 4 sacks, and I'm not even calling for the shutout, because just like, not only do you have to play really well, you got to get a little bit lucky too, because all they need is a little bit of luck in their field goal range. But a shutout defensively. When you look at Akron as a whole, their head coach, Joe Moorhead, fourth season as their head coach. He's 8-29 so far as their head coach. Not great success at Akron so far. It's his 10th career season as a head coach, 52-54 overall. So he had a winning record before he got to Akron. Actually almost won 60% of his games. Now he's under 500 since he's been to Akron. This is now his fourth season, I mentioned before. He was the head coach. Okay. Or he came, prior to Akron, Moorhead spent 2 seasons as the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at Oregon in 2021, 2022. Moorhead came to Oregon from Mississippi State, where he was the head coach there 2018-2019, led the Bulldogs to back-to-back bowl appearances. Actually, he was actually the first Mississippi State head coach to do so in their first 2 seasons in program history. All right, and it also sparked the Bulldogs to a pair of triumphant wins over Egg Bowl rivals Ole Miss. All right, there may have been a fire hydrant. I'm going to go with that incident at the end of one of the games. If you get what I'm talking about, great. If not, I'm not going to elaborate. But that contributed to them winning. But, hey, that's part of them winning as well. All right, obviously Mike Leach came in after him and did some good things at Mississippi State. You look at Akron. I mentioned this earlier. All right, they averaged 228 yards per game. Through one game, they got 228 yards. All right, 139 yards through the air, 89 rushing. So my new goal is to keep them under 80 yards. If they got 89 versus Wyoming, you got to keep them under. I knew that too. I forgot. We got to keep them under 80. All right, and their quarterback, 16 of 38. I'm not great at math, but that's well under 50%.
That's right.
That's not under 40, is it? Can you do some quick math?
I can try to.
So we allowed a 52% completion percentage versus Cincinnati. We had our highest pass defense grade in over a decade as a secondary. And 42%, all right, they come in completing 42% of their passes so far, one game against Wyoming. Man, I tell you what, we should not expect them to be able to pass the ball. We should be loading the box to try to stop the run, blitzing to try to get after the quarterback, because we should be able to match up with these guys one-on-one on the outside. And the defense should have, it's good. I don't want to say a breakout game, because Akron, no matter what you do, unless you literally win 223-0, you know, the all-time worst blowout in college football history is 222-0.
That's right.
Unless they literally had more pick sixes that game than the opposing quarterback had completed passes. If you look back at that, this is like the 1890s, by the way. I Googled one day, what's the worst blowout in college football history? And I read about it. It was like a month ago. I thought it was very interesting. Unless you win like 223-0, you're not really going to have a breakout game versus Akron, but you can get going in the right direction. You can build on something. You can lay the foundation for what you can be and hopefully work towards the rest of the year. Offensively, this is my bigger question. I expect the defense to have a good day. Offensively, the explosive plays, because this is an Akron defense. Only gave up 3 points for 55 minutes. Only gave up 10 the entirety of the game last week versus Wyoming, not an explosive offense. But again, you got any other final thoughts on the offense being more explosive?
Well, I think part of it too is again a bit of a hope that if Nebraska is using this game correctly, it's not necessarily beating the spread that I care about. It's about setting up the offense for moving forward. You scored 20 points in that first game. You're going to need to do better than that. That's right around where Nebraska's been each of the last 2 years. That's been a struggling offense. It looked a lot cleaner. I'm not saying it's the same. Again, that's against one of your better, a pretty good defense there in Cincinnati anyway. But I want to see Nebraska. I mean, carries for Emmett is a hot topic because he just had a lot of touches, but I don't want to see the starters necessarily pulled when the game is in hand. I think Nebraska needs to work on some things and getting this offense going and not necessarily wait till Michigan to do so. So I hope that they kind of keep the top offense rolling. But then again, from there, that's when you kind of think maybe the second offense even can put some points on the board as well. Nebraska has some players and playmakers. And it's always kind of just goes back to me. I don't want to headline one guy, but Marlon Lucky looked really good when Marlon Lucky was the fastest guy in the field. Mm-hmm. At other times, it was kind of tough to get him going. And that's against the better opponents. That's just, again, sorry if you're Marlon Lucky, but he's particularly kind of stuck out to me about as one of those guys. I think Nebraska has the athletes advantage in this game. And so in certain games, I think you have guys that are going to be a little bit more explosive that are already explosive, and guys that maybe you wouldn't deem as explosive that have a chance to make a little bit more explosiveness to this game. So that's my hope is that Nebraska can get this offense going and rely on that athleticism advantage to get some big plays out of it.
I don't think you have to do anything crazy. If you got a 5-yard slant route, run a 5-yard slant, catch the ball and go. Because you are going to be, as an overall whole, bigger, faster, stronger. Make the blocks when necessary. you should be able to break enough tackles and be faster enough than the other guys that a 10-yard catch turns into a 20-yard catch. And you get that extra block, and all of a sudden now a 40-yard run turns into an 80-yard touchdown run. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to press to try to make the big play, so to speak. Just make the basic play, make the basic block, break the basic tackle, for lack of a better way of putting it, because you have that ability, and they will naturally come. And you start by doing it this weekend versus Akron. So I expect to see more explosive plays. I'm curious to see how many more and how explosive we are. We were efficient. We took care of the ball. We dominated time of possession. Did a lot of really good things. 79% completion percentage. Praise the Lord, preach hallelujah, and amen. I don't want to press and all of a sudden now you're turning the ball over. Now you're completing 52% of your passes or whatever number you want to throw out there. Like, you don't have to press. Just like you watch Jeremiah Smith versus Texas, maybe the best player in America. He had two very simple passes in the first half that he dropped because he was trying to catch it and take it to the house. Like, he doesn't have to do that. Catch the ball, make the basic play, make a guy miss here and there, break a tackle here and there, get a good block here and there, 10 turns into 20, then a big play of 20 turns into 40, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we can start with that this weekend. All right. I do want to, when we come back, he brought up a couple of interesting topics. Amount of carries for Emmett Johnson, because Rule made it very clear, and I quote, "I was not happy," end quote. That was Rule in Monday's press conference about more running backs not getting in. Now, it wasn't some sort of divisiveness thing with him and Dana. That's what Rule wanted, but it's Dana's decision. So he left it up to Dana, and he trusts Dana. I guarantee we're going to see Isaiah Mosey, Quentin Ives, Mekhi Nelson. I want to see those guys in the game as much as possible. Number one, Emmett's going to carry the workload. Let's not make him carry the workload any more than necessary. Also, let's get those guys some experience, some reps. So let's chat about that when we come back. Also, Iowa State, the two biggest programs in the state of Iowa, we sell out versus Akron. Occidental, by the way, that's a real college in California. Timbuktu U, they're having a hard time selling out the Cy-Hawk game. Did you know that?
I saw that, yeah.
Let's chat about our good buddies when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We shall return.
I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and today I'm eating Raising Cane's. I want a solid bench of 4 chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries with Texas toast. Now back to you, Todd.
So the usual.
Make Raising Cane's part of your game day lineup.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and digital insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through September 9th are 15% off produce, $1 off all drinks, and 8-ounce grass-fed, grass-finished flat iron steaks for $12.99 each. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts have been an trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-5 450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloff.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Off. Cleanup made simple.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
M Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store. Family owned and operated, located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. Go bold this summer and fall with endless possibilities. Stop in now for the best selection on sweaters, outerwear, suits, sport coats, dress pants, and dress shirts. M Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
Western Sand and Gravel is hiring for a variety of positions at their sand and gravel plants near Ashland. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Available positions include plant operators, dredge operators, and shop service technicians. They offer great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, paid holidays, and paid time off. No matter your experience level, on-the-job training is available to help you build a rewarding career with Western Sand and Gravel. Start your career today. Visit westernsand.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, steel erectors who value quality work in a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's SCHWISOW.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to give away some more free stuff. It's always fun to give away free stuff. We're giving away a $25 Mulberry BBQ gift card. Just a reminder, in 25 minutes, 23 minutes now, at 12:55, we'll be giving away a pair of tickets to the Nebraska versus Akron game. All right, Jake, you want to do the honors this time? You want to pull out a name and announce the winner?
And mix it up nicely in there. Okay, our winner for our $25 gift card to Mulberry BBQ is Jesse McManus, if he is in the building. Otherwise, we'll reach out to him. Jesse McManus is the winner of the $25 gift card.
Is not in the house, but he is the winner. Congratulations. All right. Again, it's not a creepy caller. It's just Jake Sorensen. When he calls you to let you know that you've won, congratulations. A couple of things before we dive back into Nebraska versus Akron. North Carolina defensive line coach, Bob Diaco. Thoughts?
Maybe not as surprised that North Carolina got blown out there.
Wow. Bad news. Bach is back. All right. I kind of set you up there. That's on me, though. All right. Your Pro Football Focus leaders by group when it comes to individual grades and group grades after the Cincinnati game. It's going to be Dylan. 71.4 was his grade. At running back, Emmett, 64.1. Your highest graded wide receiver, Dane Key, 65.7. Isaiah Hunter right behind him at 64.3. Heinrich Harburg, Incredibly high grade at tight end, 78.5. It's interesting to me. It's still Lindenmeyer, number one, Harburg or Nelson as the number 2 tight end, yet Harburg sits here at 78.5 with the second highest grade of any player on the entire team after Cincinnati's game. Rule earlier this week, if you missed it, said it's Nelson's time, which Anier Bonner, who Wood affectionately calls Wood, unfortunately tearing his ACL. Bonner would do some things in tight end groupings as well. Also, you've got Mac Markway, who's been out for a while. Highest rated or highest graded offensive lineman, Justin Evans, 67.9. Williams Waniri, 70.6 on the D-line. And the all-pro football focused team nationally, Vincent Shavers was named to that team this week per his graded out 90.3. Marquise B, he's still not a black shirt. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think you're right.
He didn't have one last week. He still hasn't got one.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that. Just got to keep an eye on that because, again, Butler said 11 or 12. There's 11 out there. So either there's not a 12th or there's going to be a 12th. It's got to be Shavers. Just something to keep an eye on. Marquise Buford Jr., 75.5. Although Andrew Marshall was right there with 75.4 as far as highest graded type players. Again, the Cyhawk. Now, in fairness, there's less than 100 tickets left for this game, but I'm going to have fun while I can. All right, Iowa State, in-state rivalry, have not sold out their game yet. I'm sure they will. But until then, we're going to poke fun at them while we can. Got any thoughts, Jake?
I'm always excited for this matchup. They're pretty tough tickets to get on the secondary market. They start at $134, so I don't know what the remaining tickets from the athletic office is, but they might be either expensive or I'm not really sure. But it is kind of surprising. You would think that is the game that a lot of Iowans have circled on their calendar. It's one of my favorite college football games in general. I can't wait to see it. Just a reminder. Kirk Ferentz 6-2, I believe, so far against Matt Campbell, though the Iowa State is favored in that one.
In all fairness, it's actually a game I look forward to every year as well. It's always highly contested. I mean, two pretty good teams now year in and year out, especially after what Matt Campbell has built there at Iowa State. Usually a very close game, very good rivalry. And this is not a joke. USA Today, Sports College Football NCAA re-rank. After week 1, they ranked teams 1 through 136. All right, in all seriousness, no, number 1 was Penn State, 2 Georgia, 3 Ohio State, 4 LSU, 5 Miami. All right, no real shockers there. You could debate, argue, whatever. Number 25, Nebraska. You want to know who's at number 26?
I do.
You know it or you want to know it?
I have an indication of where this is going.
If you know it, go ahead.
I believe it's Alabama.
It's Alabama.
Yeah.
Thoughts on us being 25 and Alabama 26? By the way, Josh Pate in his recent power rankings. Hold on. I got to get this right. If you watch his show, it's a big deal between rankings and power ratings. He does power ratings. He has Nebraska 21st in the country in his power ratings. This has us 25th ahead of Alabama at 26 with the re-rankings. I'm not going to explain the whole difference. You can go watch Josh's show. He decides to torture himself every week by doing power ratings instead of rankings, and it confuses everybody. But my point is, people have got us 21st in the country, 25th in the country, ahead of Alabama. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, I think the goal for years was to catch Alabama. I don't think this is what we quite meant. I think Alabama's fallen more than anything. And just to be quite frank, I know Nebraska's right in there in other receiving votes. I think they deserve to be. I think that's right around there where they should be. But I don't think that's a top 25 team that we saw in week 1 against Cincinnati. I think they still have to work to do to get there. They can be, and they can be by season's end. They certainly will be if they beat Michigan. But I just think. I think they're kind of right where they need to be in most of the polls, which is from the outside looking in, and still, have to earn it up there. If someone wants to put them in after 1 week, I get it. Again, that kind of goes back to this rankings versus ratings thing. A victory over Cincinnati is probably more impressive than a lot of the top 25 that played nobodies in week 1. So I can kind of understand it. Still think Nebraska has some work to do to be a top 25 team.
I will readily admit that I don't put a whole lot of stock into preseason rankings. And really, I don't put a whole lot of legit. And like at the end of every year, you can look at the preseason top 25 teams, and every year there's going to be like less than 50% of them are still ranked at the end of the year. Like there's not a lot of legitimacy to it. Probably shouldn't do it. I still like it. It just makes it more fun. It makes it more entertaining. It makes ranked teams, when they play each other, more fun. Top 5, top 10. I will admit there's no legitimacy to it. It's more for entertainment value, and I'm okay with that. We will know a lot more in 3 weeks about Nebraska. I just want to get better these next 2 weeks. I want to look at Cincinnati in 3 weeks. Like, that team is better than they have been. Don't look at them as a 5-7 team. They're going to at least be a bowl game, worst case scenario. They could be a team that wins 7, 8, maybe 9 games. Who knows? How good has Cincinnati looked in 3 weeks? And then more importantly, how do we do versus Michigan? And how much better do we get the next couple of weeks? I'm just going to throw this out there because I'll probably never, ever be able to say it again in my life. You've probably already seen it. But again, whoever thought we'd be able to say this? The number of times Bill Belichick coached NFL teams that allowed 48 points, 0 in 511 games. Number of times Bill Belichick coached college football teams that allowed 48 points, 1 time in 1 game. Just amazing. Belichick said they're going to get back to work. Maybe that's the wake-up call the team needed. With all due respect, maybe it's the wake-up call Belichick needed. Okay, I mean, his accolades far exceed me, but clearly they're missing something. And I know people can say 70 new players. Well, like, Florida State's got a whole bunch of new players. And I know Colorado had Shadur and Travis when Deion walked through the door, but they had over 90 new players. So I'm just curious to see how they get. They may make the biggest strides and most improvement of any team in the country over the next 4 weeks. Nebraska fans want to see how we improve. They may make the biggest strides of any team in the country with all the new coaching staff and everything else. And I know a lot of people are kind of like, I know we kind of pointed out Bob Diaco was the D-line coach, but also his son being on staff there. How serious is his staff he put together? Is it really the best coaches or just a safe staff for Bill? So I don't know. We'll see. All right. I'm going to let you read this tweet from Fo Pelini yesterday. Keep in mind, yesterday was September 4th.
So for the last time, 9-4 is not Bo Pelini Day.
Agree or disagree?
Disagree. It absolutely is. I celebrate every year.
It's not a bad thing.
Right. Good.
You never won less than 9 games. All right, Jake. Let's see. We got about 5 minutes here. We will be handing out 2 tickets, again, to Nebraska versus Akron in 15 minutes at 12:55. You got any final thoughts before we give away some more free stuff? We get on out of here in a few minutes. Final thoughts, Nebraska, Akron. You gave your prediction beyond who's going to win and lose and beyond the score. At the end of the game, when the game is over. Okay? Because everyone knows how they felt after the Cincinnati game. How do you want to feel after the Akron game? Like what's the feeling you want to have about Nebraska's performance that you just watched?
Just confident that they took strides forward. I think that's the biggest thing. If it's a close game, we're all going to get nervous, right? If they go in there, take care of business, hold Akron's running game down. It provides some explosive plays on offense. I think a lot of that is we're going to look at the opponent, sure, but at the same time, you're going to say, okay, well, they can do it against a lesser opponent. Now you just kind of build off of that. So I think that's the biggest thing I'm kind of looking out for Nebraska. By the way, there's a lot of games that are of interest tomorrow, but you brought it up with Cincinnati. Not a bad idea to look out for them. Tomorrow at 2:30, they will play Bowling Green, who is a bowl team last year out of the MAC. So maybe you can get more of an indication of who Cincinnati is coming out of that. But again, for Nebraska, I think, again, a lot of the things they did, low penalties, that was great. Continue that. And then the biggest thing I'm looking for here is to keep that turnover tire off the sideline. Akron has, the turnover chains, all that sort of stuff. Akron puts a full-blown tire on the neck of their player that creates a turnover.
Seriously?
They really do.
They have many neck injuries on that team? They put a tire around the neck?
Like a car tire around their neck. But they created 10 turnovers last year. So the turnover tire didn't make a.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm just like, why a turnover? Because it's turnover tire. Is that why?
So
it just sounds good.
The zippers or the zips. The zips used to be the zippers.
We used to be the bug eaters. We can't say much.
Right. So we can't complain. But they had like a tire factory in Akron. That I think was where all that came from. So
okay.
It also fun to note. The under John Heisman, who coached there in the 1800s, created the snap in football. There was no snap in football before. The center would just kind of kick it back or roll it back. But the quarterback that he had that year was so tall that they snapped it, and that created the snap right there in Akron. So a little bit of college football history there for you.
So many things real quick. Is John Heisman that the Heisman?
The Heisman name, yeah.
And he also created the snap.
He was a part of the reason I think a lot of it. He was development of the scoreboard, the concept of football quarters, the legalization of the forward pass, all the stuff John Heisman had a hand in, including the hike signal also. Along with that snap, I think might have been created in Akron. I know the snap was. I'm not sure about the hike signal.
So the kicker or the center used to just kick the ball backwards?
That's right. This was before the forward pass was.
Do you have to block
allowed.
anybody, or was he not allowed to be? Like, how do you kick it and then turn around and block? How does this work?
So they begin a play by rolling or kicking the ball backwards.
Rolling.
This was before there was any forward pass was illegal too. So if you're thinking snap, I'm not talking about the shotgun. They were not shotgunning it. This was just the straight snap backwards.
Was it Spurrier that? It wasn't Spurrier that invented the shotgun. I heard him say that one time, and I never fact checked. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right. A lot of interesting stuff there. So they have a tire factory. I've always thought the zips was very interesting. I suppose it's an improvement over zippers. Should we make the players eat bugs after they force turnovers? Because we used to be the bug eaters? That's a terrible idea.
We should do that.
All right. Sorry. Anything else? I kind of got enamored with some of the things you were saying. It was very interesting. Anything else before we go to break here?
That's all my little facts for today.
So how I want to feel. This is going to make no sense, but it's what I said after the UTEP game last year. I want to feel how I should feel. How I should feel is they couldn't run the ball. They struggled to pass. Maybe they found a way to score one touchdown or a field goal, as much as I'd love a shutout. But the defense looked noticeably better. Offensively, let's stay efficient. 3-4 turnovers or not turnovers, penalties or less as a team. Hopefully you stay with the donut with the turnover. I guess hopefully you win the battle, but no more than one turnover. Let's stay clean. All right, and just some explosive plays. It doesn't have to be a triple, quadruple option reverse pass. Just like a few plays that break, and then a key block, and one guy makes two or three guys miss, and then his speed, he's just faster than everybody else. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be a million of them. Just like a half a dozen maybe. Explosive plays. So I want to see us continue to do well what we did last week, which was solid kicking game in the special teams, discipline, took care of the ball, efficient on offense. The improvements are in the return game. A few more explosive plays to a whole lot more explosive plays. Somewhere in there would be all right with me. Offensively and defensively, they should not get 90 yards rushing. They shouldn't get 80 yards rushing. They got 89 versus Wyoming. Okay. And I want to see a pass defense that looks the exact same, just a few more sacks up front. 4 would be ideal. So not to be too crazy. 4 sacks, less than 80 yards rushing, a few more big plays in the return game and offensively, and just continue to do what we did well last week with just some tweaks and improvement. I don't want to see things we did well last week be taken for granted, and then all of a sudden we're not doing them well in an effort to try to stress ourselves or press to make big plays, or press to get a sack, or press to break a big run or catch a big ball, and then all of a sudden you're not doing well what you did before. Keep doing well what you did before, and just add the basic little things, and they will come and they will happen, and we'll get better over time. All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll give away more free stuff. I'm going to go order some barbecue, Jake.
Absolutely.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Break out the lederhosen and raise a stein. Oktoberfest is this Friday at Kincaider in the Haymarket. Music and food service start at 4 p.m. and the party goes on through the night. Expect cold beer, German eats, and all the Bavarian fun you can handle at Oktoberfest this Friday night at Kincaider in the Haymarket.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Western Sand and Gravel is hiring for a variety of positions at their sand and gravel plants near Ashland. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Available positions include plant operators, dredge operators, and shop service technicians. They offer great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, paid holidays, and paid time off. No matter your experience level, on-the-job training is available to help you build a rewarding career with Western Sand and Gravel. Start your career today. Visit westernsand.com.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket, sponsored by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communications services since 1901. Whether it's residential or business, Hamilton has the answers. Visit hamiltontel.com for more info today. That's Hamilton, TEL.com. We're going to be giving away 2 tickets to Nebraska versus Akron in 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned in. Real quick, I want to give a shout out, and it's not just because she's my niece. She's a world champion. Let me repeat that. A world champion. The 2025 Soapbox Derby champion, Adela McBride, no relation to Charlie, okay, but world champion, represented Region 4 with class this week. Now, she competes in a wide age range. I think it's like 9 to 13-year-olds. I could be wrong on that, but she's 9. Like, she's like the youngest in the age range. She went to the World Championships last year. It did not go well. And it was rough. She had a rough time. She came back. They came back this year. And it was interesting because she was very confident. Not this past week, this past summer, to be correct on that. When they got there, like you can order these jackets. The only way you get a jacket is to win a world championship or to buy it. It's the only way you get it. And her mom and dad bought one for each of themselves. They were going to buy one for a day later. She said no. Her dad goes, why? She goes, because I'm going to win it. And she was just like calm. She was quiet. And the dad's like, well, Phil's his name. My brother-in-law, he's like, let's just get one, you never know. She's like, no, I'm going to win it. And she went out and she went from what happened last year. And it was just, when I talk about players having big eyes and bright eyes and being overwhelmed mentally, despite what you can do physically, the young kid, it happened to her. It happens to people of all ages. She went out and she won the world championship. And this is something that's determined by milliseconds. Milliseconds. She beat people she had already lost to. She beat people who had won last year. And she went out and she won the world championship. So that was pretty cool. 4 kids from the state of Nebraska, more people from the state of Nebraska than any other state in America won world championships at this. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, just FYI, this takes place in Akron, which is why I'm mentioning
Oh, okay.
it.
Wow.
Just so you know the connection there. All right, quick question, and we got picks to get to. We got stuff to give away. Does Nebraska have to cover 34.5 points spread? Quick answer in order to feel good about this game.
Not necessarily. I mean, they got to come close. If they win 37-3 and that half a point isn't covered, then I won't be too upset about it. But they do have to get pretty close. I think. If you're talking about a 21-point win, I kind of go back to the Northern Iowa game a few years ago, or just that we've had that not quite laying it on them. To take that step forward, to feel like the program is taking that step forward and it's going to start leaning on inferior opponents. That's what I want to see this week. So I think they pretty much have to.
I think it's fair. I don't have much to add to that. Perfectly said. All right, it is time. We're even going to do it a minute early to give away 2 free tickets, a pair of tickets to Nebraska versus Akron. You mix them up, and I'll pick the lucky folks because, well, I like the credit. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So I have to pick 2 names, it sounds like. All right, Michael Esau. I think that's right. I hope I said that right. Michael Esau. We have the number. All right, so Michael is a winner. Congratulations to Michael. So does he get the 2? Or we picking 2 names? All right, congratulations to Michael. Attaboy, my friend. We're going to do something that hopefully I do much better at this week, and we're going to pick some college football games and some winners. The bar is so low, all I have to do is get 1 right, and technically I got better than last week. I just strive to get better each week. So if I get 1 game right this week and 2 next week, I'm getting better each week. Isn't that right, Jake?
I think that's right.
I don't think you're buying anything I'm saying, but that's okay. Let's go. What games we got?
Let's start with Michigan and Oklahoma. Michigan at Oklahoma, if you're wondering.
Who did Michigan play last year that they upset them? And I thought, no way going into the game they were going to win. And they found, I think, was it USC? I think it was USC.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
Because they got mollywopped by Texas early on in the year. USC was undefeated at the time, and Michigan just found a way to Michigan them and just beat them, even though USC probably was the better team. Talent-wise, exponentially the better team. I almost want to do that here, but Bryce Underwood is on the road. He's just a little too young. And Michigan had 3 big run plays last week. Now, those runs count, but outside of them, they only average 3 yards per carry. I don't think they're going to out-Michigan Oklahoma. Oklahoma's more talented. They got the home field. Give me the Sooners.
All right, since you did terrible last week, I'm just going to pick the opposite of you. Tempting to do, but I agree.
Wow, that's a great strategy.
I do agree with you. Oklahoma too is favored by 5.5. Again, I think you look at the kind of the complete opposite as far as veteran leadership at quarterback. Bryce Underwood can be spectacular. Might one day, be one of the best ever do it there in the maize and blue, but. John Mateer, of course, a little bit of offseason trouble, but he's a veteran quarterback. I think that gives the Sooners the advantage.
A lot of people have him as the Heisman favorite, by the way. Mateer. All right, next game.
Surprise. Let's do Iowa at Iowa State.
Who's favored?
Iowa State favored by 3.5 as the home team.
What did Iowa throw for, like 2 yards last week? I think it was like 44. But they rushed for over 300. Oh, this is the tough one. And honestly, the only thing I know about this game, other than just generalities, is that they were having a hard time selling out the game because that was really what stood out to me. I'm going to go with Iowa State. I just think this is the year that Iowa State gets them. Again, would you say, 2-6 the last 8 years versus Iowa. I think Iowa State looked really good week 1. I think Iowa's going to struggle a little too much to throw the ball. I mean, you can put almost any quarterback in Iowa uniform and they struggle to throw the ball. That's just amazing to me. I'm going to go with Iowa State.
Yeah, it might be more of a system problem there or something with Iowa, but they did run the ball really well. A lot of people gave them the number 1 grade as far as offensive lines. And like I said, I mean, I just kind of go back to Kirk Ferentz generally seems to have some sort of advantage over not only Matt Campbell, but PJ Fleck in some of these rivalries. So I like Iowa to come in and get the win. I think they're going to do it the Michigan way of last year, though. They might only throw for 60 yards, but I think that's enough for them to get it done.
Who'd you pick the first one?
Oklahoma.
Because you were going to go opposite of me, but then you didn't. Okay. All right, what else we got?
What else we got? Much sense there. Let's do Kansas and Missouri, an old Big 12 North, Big 8 rivalry. We get to see it now with the Big 12 and SEC. All
right, remind me of the spread on this.
Missouri, 6.5.
I'm going to take Missouri. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. I like Kansas here. I do. I think Kansas. Again, kind of go with the Bo Pribula versus Jalen Daniels here. Jalen Daniels lives in Topeka, has a kid, another job. I mean, he's an adult, so he's been around there for like 6 years. I like his playmaking ability too. So I like Kansas to get that win.
We're gonna get some separation this week because last week we only had one different pick. So technically, you're up 1 game on me. Right now, our 3 picks so far this upcoming weekend, we have 2 different picks. We're gonna get some separation here.
That's right. You want to do one more?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I was going to say, those are the ones that I'm most intrigued by. I think from there, man, you know what? I think the next most intriguing game to me, I'm going to go ahead and say UCLA and UNLV. They might not be at the top, but it's a tough game to predict.
Who's favored?
So this one is at UNLV, where the Raiders play in Las Vegas. UCLA is favored by 2.5.
That is a tough one. Man, UNLV didn't look. I'm going to go with UCLA. I'm just going to go with UCLA. Neither team looked great week 1. But UCLA played Utah and UNLV played a team I don't even remember. So I'm going to go with UCLA.
Yeah, UNLV hasn't looked great coming out of this week, but it was kind of funny. Their cornerback, Amaris Brown, said of Nico Iamaleava, nothing really sticks out to me about him. So
that doesn't sound good.
He wasn't too impressed.
Wow.
Dan Mullen, the new head coach there, was a little bit more complimentary. But I'm picking with my heart a little bit here. I'm going to go with UNLV here.
All
I
right.
love the UNLV program. And I think this is a chance for a big win for them at the beginning of the Dan Mullen era.
All right. We'll see what happens. I look forward to sweeping you 3-0 and chatting about it on Monday, my friend. All right. Have a glorious weekend. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bones.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef,